Hi everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where I come up with healthier options and versions of things you love to eat. So first of all, I know the lighting's a little weird. We're still working on that, and it's almost fall. So got some crazy weather today. Anyhow, got a really great one for you. This is, I'm kind of been into snacks. I've had a lot of requests for snacks and things that taste good and replace some other stuff. Chips and things like that are obviously not healthy for you. So we want to give you some great options that you and your family will love to eat. And my daughter's already been through here twice, sneaking out the ones that I've already made. So super simple. Got an air fryer ready to go. We're going to preheat that to 400. Now you can make these stovetop if you absolutely have to. Grab a little bit of avocado oil and you can actually fry these in the avocado oil. Just keep in mind that that's going to add a little bit of fat to your recipe, but you don't have to have an air fryer. And to be honest, I had to go steal one from my daughter-in-law because I didn't realize my daughter took mine, but that's okay. We got it. This works great. Everybody uses an air fryer. So super, super simple. All right, we're going to use some just dill pickle chips. I grabbed ovals. It was really interesting. The smaller bottle and this bottle were the same price. I don't understand, but okay, whatever. I'll take the bigger one. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry out those pickles because of course I want to be able to adhere the breading to this. Now they are low carb, so keep that in mind. We're using some alternative ingredients. So no breadcrumbs. You're not gonna get any sort of gluten or anything like that. I am, for the most part, gluten-free. So not just by choice, although I think nobody should be eating gluten, but because I have an autoimmune disease. So, all right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my ingredients ready. It calls for pork panko. Now, again, if you look it up, all that is you're going to use chicharrones, right, or pork rinds, and you're going to make crumbs out of it. So super simple. I'm just going to make. I grabbed a bag yesterday, and I'm just going to make my own panko crumbs, right? They're just, of course, sugar-free, carb-free, right? We're going for, so if you are keto, this is something that would probably work for you. Not the biggest fan of keto for several reasons, but there are some times where it's appropriate. So, of course, I am a lot of times low carb, so that's kind of a big one for me. All right, so I'm just using my little Ninja. I use it for all kinds of stuff. It's well used in my house. There we go. So I want about a cup of the pork panko or the breadcrumbs that I'm making. So I'm going to do 2 batches because I can only fit so many of the pork rinds in there. Oh, and that did not come all out. So there we go. All right. Make just another small batch. Super, super simple. The great thing was I had most of these ingredients in my house, which was great. I just had to pick up the pork rinds and pickles because we go through them really fast in my household. So, all right, let me make one more round of this. Okay. Now, I did turn my air fryer off just for noise issues, but when I made the first batch, obviously I want to preheat it. Again, super, super simple. I do, however, recommend that you eat these fresh and warm because, of course, we want them to be a little bit crispy, just like anything else would be when it is breaded and fried. Don't do a lot of fried these days. My stomach does not like it. All right, so I got my breadcrumbs. Now, to that, I'm going to add a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, super simple. We always have garlic powder. Matter of fact, I buy the big one at Costco and refill this because we use so much of it. Okay, ½ teaspoon of that. Okay, I'm also going to add, let me check my recipe here. Looks like a ½ teaspoon of paprika. Try finding it. For some reason, there's some things that are just really difficult to find right now. Why, I'm not sure. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Okay, and I'm gonna mix that up. So that is my breading, okay? So salt and pepper, I did grab it. Where did it go? Right there, okay. I do have everything here, I promise. The only thing I have to grab here in a second is eggs. So, okay, so there's that. Now I'm gonna beat, actually I have really small eggs because they are fresh out of the chicken and they are really tiny. So I'm gonna grab these. And yes, I do keep them on top of my fridge because when you get them directly from the chicken, if you do not wash them, they don't need to be refrigerated. So, this one's at the store, you do. The ones at the store, you do. Keep that in mind. All right, so I'm actually gonna mix 2 because it calls for 1 large egg. And they are tiny. They're just tiny eggs, tiny chicken. You should see some of them. Some of them are just super teeny tiny. They have little tiny yolks. It's really cute. All right, I'm gonna whisk that up because I'm going to dredge each of my pickles through both of these. All right, so I got that. All right, let me whisk that up with a fork. Yeah, great thanks to my friend Jennifer for bringing me a ton of eggs. Okay, because we use them up. All right, so I'm gonna get a little process going here. That's ready to go. All right, so I've dried my pickles because I want them to obviously take what I put on them. I want them to hold on to the breading. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them on a plate, and I'm actually gonna drizzle just a little bit of coconut flour to them. And that will actually absorb the rest of the moisture and help everything stick. Now, I'm not doing a full batch, but it does call for about a cup of pickles. So again, your choice, depends on how much you're making. So I'm just going to, I've got a little bit of coconut flour there. Fortunately, that's something I always have in my house. Always have coconut and almond flour because we use it extensively. Now it is the season for baking, so I do have some regular all-purpose flour, but I personally don't use a lot of it unless I'm making something specific for the holiday, only because basically flour is sugar. So keep that in mind. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that bread turns to sugar. They're like, what? Yes, bread turns to sugar. So if you are diabetic, pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, really trying to cut back, right? Really trying to avoid sugars, just remember that a lot of simple, a lot of carbohydrates turn directly into glucose in your system. All right, so those are ready to go. So again, I'm gonna have a little dredging system here. I'm gonna dip it in the egg, and I'm gonna dip it in my crumbs, which I'm gonna mix real quick so I get a good mixture of that. Now you can absolutely change this a little bit to taste if you want to make it a little more garlicky, a little less salt, whatever. The chicharrones do have a little bit of salt on there, so probably don't need a lot of salt if you're buying a flavored option. I'm gonna dredge each, put it on the plate, and then I'll put it in my air fryer. So I'm just gonna show you a couple. Now, I'm gonna use a fork to help. Okay, although by the time I'm done, I've got breadcrumbs all over my fingers. It's great, and I don't really care. I wash my hands, I'll wash them when they're done. All right, so you wanna knock off any excess, but I do want it to be fully covered, right? Because when I cook it, I want it to be fully crispy. All right, so I'm gonna do each of those, and then I'm gonna stick them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes. Now, I'm actually gonna do a quick spray of just a aerosol, which I don't love, but an aerosol olive oil, just because again, I want these to be super crispy, and you can turn them over halfway through so that they do cook all the way through and get balanced on both sides so that they are super crispy. But let me show you what they're gonna look like. Okay, so we got it, 400 degrees, 10 minutes, about 16-ish pickles, but let me show you how they're gonna look, and then we can talk about what you can dip them in. All right, so as you can see, they've turned out super lovely. Just make sure you can see it in the screen there. They're crispy, right? These actually have been sitting here for a bit. Again, they're probably best right after you eat them, but any way you look at it, it's a really great, easy recipe. So here's the deal. We're just trying to replace those things that we love with healthier versions so you don't feel like you're having to sacrifice. You don't feel like you're missing out, but you're not doing that damage to your body. Now, if you want to eat the real thing once in a while, that's fine, but unfortunately in the standard American diet, people are eating this stuff on a daily basis and then can't figure out why they don't feel good. So really just be creative. Pinterest is your friend. Get some great ideas, get some great recipes. Avoid regular oils, vegetable oil and canola oil. Shoot for the ones that are cold pressed, like the avocado oil or macadamia nut oil, coconut oil. And then you just have a better version of those things that you love to eat. Now, dips. Absolutely make your own dips. You can get the commercially made ones. I would recommend sugar-free, but again, all of those are gonna have some additives and preservatives, which are technically toxins. So if you wanna make your own, use some sour cream or some Greek yogurt, low sugar. Again, you can make great options. I don't tend to be super low fat. I tend to be super low carb. Diabetes does run in my family, so I'm very aware. I will be 50 in 3 years. I'm paying strict attention. I know what my genes tell me. So, hey, you guys try it out. Let me know what you think. So far, I think this is a good one. If my family will eat it, I know it's a great recipe. But I get my very best ideas from you. Make sure if you send me a recipe, it has to be simple, not too many steps, because a lot of people don't know how to cook, and I just don't do complicated. I just don't have time. So if it's a great recipe, you love it, your family loves it, you want to share it, That's how we become a community. Is we share these great recipes and things that we find and how to be successful, because that's what good people do. So have an incredible weekend. If you want to see the rest of the options and the episodes of Meals with Melissa, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell, and you can go back and see everything I have actually ever done on Facebook. So have an incredible weekend, you guys. Until next time, that is Meals with Melissa. Have an incredible day.